Welcome to your District 27 Vice President of Public Relations and Vice President Membership Social Media Overview. Emphasis on overview, because your district will be teaching you classes that go more in depth. So the idea that I'm going to give you is that there will be many options that you have to create your public relations strategy, both as VP membership and VP public relations. Gianna already told you all about me, so I'm not going to go further on that. I would like to thank Iris and Gianna for allowing me to deliver this training to you. And my hope is that when you finish, you say to yourself, I'm good and I this. I want you to go to the chat right now and I want you to type, I'm good and I got this. Go ahead, get to it. The whole point of having you do this is to create an automatic confidence in social media. As Vice President's membership and Vice President's public relations, you are the voice, the creative, and the motivator for your clubs, both inside and outside the club. If you are attending this class as a guest, or you don't hold these particular offices, it does not matter. You still represent Toastmasters International, and you are the voice, the creative, and the motivator for your clubs, which makes you an innovator. Remember that everything that you do in Toastmasters must have the foundation of the pillars of integrity, respect, service, and excellence. So we will begin with the Vice President membership piece. We will take a 5 to 7 minute break, and then we'll continue on with Vice President Public Relations. So this young lady on the screen has hashtag my why. Why is this important? Most of the time, people decide to join Toastmasters because, or so they say, they want to improve their leadership and communication skills. But when you dig deeper, it's more than that. For example, I have a member in my club who his name is Hector Meneses, and he says that he wants to be the next Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So he wants to be a dynamic speaker so that he could get into public service. So it's important to find out both with your current members and those on the outside in, what is their why? What drives them? What motivates them? And that when you can use these social media platforms to help them achieve that. Social media can be used to entice, entertain, encourage, educate, and empower your members as well as your outside publics. So now these are your sources of information. Whenever you create a social media strategy, you have to think, where can I get the best? And your Toastmasters.org website is the perfect place to go. So we're going to go to each one of these links, with the exception of the bottom one with the articles, because that takes too long to load. So let's get started. So in this screen, it says all about Toastmasters, right? It gives you the information, but the selling point is the 364,000 members in 145 countries in 16,200 clubs. When members, and as well as the outside publics, realize the potential for networking, for connecting with people from around the world, particularly that we are in this virtual platform, it is an automatic ticket, right? It's what brings people in, because just the thought that you could be sitting in your living room and you could connect with somebody in India, you can connect with somebody in Africa, you can connect to somebody in China. You know, the potential is limitless for networking. The second part that is a good selling point is break barriers, not your budget. Now, it costs $45 every 6 months or $90 a year. That's not going to break the bank. Now, most people look at that price and they say that, you know, sometimes they look at Toastmasters that it's a lesser quality than other leadership and communication vehicles, when the truth is that the reason why the price is so low is because when founder Ralph Smedley sold the name Toastmasters International, He said that the only way that he would do this is if it remained reasonable for people to learn how to lead, how to use their communication and leadership skills. So you see, there is a reason behind the price. It's not so much that the quality is less, it's just that he wanted to keep it reasonable so that everybody could afford it. Next, you look at the reasons why, and then notice this prompt. They have these prompts in between the websites as a way to click to other pages. And that's what you want to do with your club websites as well. And we'll get into that later. Video for the Toastmasters Club experience. This is actually a beautiful video. It has, the basic running of an in-person Toastmasters experience. And of course, you can also transfer that experience to the virtual. Then you have, of course, your pathways program. And when you click, it takes you there. And then are you ready to join? So you see how the way they set up the prompts, and we will talk further about that later on. Okay, next we will go to the online portal. Now, this portal was created after the COVID-19, the coronavirus crisis started. And it's a way so that all clubs can have successful online meetings. First, it starts with the online meetings infographic. So when you click here, and it has this really cool infographic that teaches you, well, how to set up your lighting, how to stand tall so that you look good online, how to look at the screen. So these are things that not only Toastmasters need, but everyone needs. But this is a great selling tool as well to show that Toastmasters is not all about themselves, but rather we also care about our public. Then it has online meeting tips for your group, online meeting tips for club officers, comparison of software between Zoom, WebEx, Google Meets, and so on. Your online prospect flyer, and I'll click on it so that you can see it. Okay. Here we go. Now, sure, some of you have already seen this before, but this is a way to attract people to your club. The problem with this flyer is the fact that it's on PDF form, which means that in order to use it in the body of your email, or maybe to use it in other vehicles, you're going to have to download it, scan it, and turn it into a photo in either JPEG format or PNG, so that then you can use it more effectively. And then this is the online member flyer. I happen to like this one better than the other one. I think this one is more reflective of Toastmasters and its diversity. It also has, of course, the timer, Zoom backgrounds, digital ribbons. For example, if somebody wins best Toastmaster, best evaluator, best speech, and so on, you can award them digital ribbons. It's a package that you download to your hard drive, and then you upload it as a background on Zoom. Your core values, Zoom backgrounds, and you have seen all of these before. But the whole point is that they have a whole portal that you can use to ensure that your online meetings are a success. And I think that that's really, really a valuable tool. Okay, next, we have the video library, and there's some really cool videos, not only about public speaking and communication, but about, communicating across cultures, how to network. There's a whole bunch of information that you can include in your emails, in your messaging, that people can look at those links and learn from. And these are excellent selling points. My particular one that I absolutely love is this one, communicating across cultures, humor, and body language. Because as we know, a gesture in one country does not mean the same thing in another country. So that is a very important one to look into. Next, there are podcasts. One of the greatest motivational speakers of all time, Zig Ziglar, used to say that your automobile was your university, and he called it Automobile University. He coined that phrase. These podcasts that your Toastmasters websites have are also a marketing tool for you. You can send it to your members, send the links so that they can listen in their car via Bluetooth, and all of their mobile devices, on their airplane with earphones, right? So there's ways that you can still get them to know about Toastmasters, but also know about all of these different speakers, what they could do, what they have done. And you can learn tips from all of these people who have done podcasts before. Next, I recommend that every club create a virtual member packet on their websites. It's crucial. So what should the virtual member packet have? Your membership application, the navigator, which explains the Pathways program, finding your voice, so that this way people get an idea, well, how can Toastmasters help me? The photo release form, the video release form, and the online meeting infographic that I showed you. Now, you don't have to go through all these links because your district has provided this for you in one neat little packet, and I will take you there. Okay, where are you? Oh, here we go. Okay, so here's the digital guest packet that your district has provided for you. So you can just download the forms from here. So this way you don't have to go crazy going through those links. So they have made it truly easy for you to gather this information. The next selling point is the Pathways Learning Experience electives. When you look at the electives for level 3, level 4, and level 5, you realize the potential, such as how to create a podcast, building a social media presence, writing a compelling blog. These are all skills that people can use right now, going for an interview, right? So these are truly good selling points that you can use to enhance your promotional work for the outside messaging, right? People are out there looking for jobs, right? And some people are becoming entrepreneurs at home, virtually. So these are excellent tools that you can use as a way that, hey, Toastmasters can help you learn these skills, enhance your skills so that then you can grow and you can expand. Your club website is an excellent tool for so that you can attract members and also keep your current members. So let me take you. Okay, so here's my club website. The first thing that I recommend is that you create a tagline. Our tagline is "We create winners." So figure out what your tagline will be for your club based on your personality, or better yet, what you want to create going forward. When we created that tagline, we only had 6 members in our club, but we decided that we were going to look forward, right? And that our goal was to always have 21 members. And that's why our club is called Impact 21, because our goal is to always have 21 and to always create winners. On the top, we have a banner stating that we're President Distinguished and Perfect 10 Club. If your club has a perfect 10, if you're a select distinguished or president distinguished or distinguished club, by all means, put that in the banner of your club. It adds automatic value. It says that your club is going places, that it cares about its members, and it's forward moving. There is a message from our club president. I have a tag here. Following the Toastmasters International website, I did the same thing with our website. So when I click about Impact 21, which I'll show you later, it takes you to the section about us. That video that was in the Toastmasters website, I embedded it into the homepage of our website. These are testimonials from world champions of public speaking of how Toastmasters has helped them. Then I have the Pathways Learning Experience. And then when you click Learn More, it takes you to the Toastmasters Pathway page. And then here, the invitation to come visit our club. And then when they click I'm ready to attend, it says information about us. So these are ways that you can use your website to attract to your club. Okay, so the meeting information. It's taking a little while, but there's a picture of us on Zoom. And then we say, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, all the information in case when we meet again in the future. Your club calendar must always be kept up to date. It's crucial that you keep it up to date. So this is a section about us. I created this graphic through PowerPoint, and it's relatively easy with PowerPoint. You can actually, take pictures from your club and juxtaposition them in all kinds of different ways. And then I talk about what our club is about and what it's composed of, right? Professionals in the corporate world, community leaders, world champion speakers, business owners, so on and so forth, so forth. So think about who are the people in your club? What are their professions? And then included in there in the description of who you are and what you're about. And then I use that 364,000 members and so on as a selling point for our club to show people that we are part of a larger network. And then when you click on how to join, it takes you, well, how can you become a member? And again, I repeat that video. There's a testimonial from one of our club members. And, we want to ensure that you have a wonderful experience at our club. And it has the infographic so that when people visit the club, they look at the infographic and they're ready to set themselves up for success. The Finding Your Voice for sure. Learn about the Pathway programs. I include the level 3, level 4, and level 5 electives so that guests that come to our website see that all the skills that they learn in Toastmasters are transferable. And then once they become a member, what do they need to do? New member application, photo release form, video release form. I give them an example of what the membership fees look like in case they are curious. And I tell them the fact that there is mentorship available at our club. when you're trying to attract people to your club, it is important that you are clear, right? The clarity is everything. So there is no confusion, right? So people clearly know what's going on and they know what you have to offer. I also have the explanation of club executive officer roles. We have a video gallery, we have a newsletter, a photo gallery, speaker hints, voice techniques. So all of these things help the public that are going to visit your website. And in the end, also it adds value. Okay, your Gmail is also a promotional tool. The signature line on your Gmail can have your picture, the office that you hold, your slogan for the year, your email, your website, and also all your social media platforms and links to those platforms. And I will take you to my Gmail so that you can see how you can do that. You click the settings wheel, you click see all settings, you scroll down, and here is where you set up your signatures, right? So I have 3 signatures, one from my first club, my second club, and then the OmniPro Speakers Bureau one. So Gmail lets you set up unlimited signature lines. One of the ways that I use my signature line as well is, for example, let's say we're holding an open house, we're holding a club anniversary, things like that. I'll just put it right in the signature line. And this is a selling tool for your clubs as well. And of course, all your social media platforms have links so that this way people see, oh, they're on Facebook or they're on Instagram. Let me check out and see what they're doing. But this is a way that this is a tool that you can use as well. So these are the social media platforms on the left and social media creative tools on the right. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook are the ones that people usually use. But now there seems to be a greater focus on LinkedIn because it's a professional network, right? So bear that in mind. You don't have to use all these social media platforms. So we'll get more into that when we get to the VPPR section of the meeting. Meetup is more, it's an interesting platform as compared to the others because Meetup, there is all groups. So these groups are already formed, they attach to other groups. When you use your media platform, those of you that have Meetup and you set up your meetings, make sure that you include a different picture for each meeting, a different title, a different description so that it doesn't look stagnant. Evite, of course, is so that this way you can, if you have an open house, if you have any event at your club, you create a special invitation for people to come. And it also keeps a log as to who is coming, who's not, and that sort of thing. And of course, YouTube, you already know, is for videos. On the right-hand side, you have your creative tool, Canva and Adobe Spark, and we'll go into that later. Then you have your social media scheduling tools. On the left of the free ones and on the right of the ones you have to pay. TweetDeck, of course, is to schedule all your Twitter posts. On the bottom, the Creator Studio is for Facebook and Instagram. A note on Facebook and Instagram, you must have a business account on Facebook in order for you to use these. And in order to have a business page on Facebook, you must have a Facebook profile page. So this means that if you have your personal page, please create another page on Facebook so that then you can use a business page and get into the Creator Studio scheduling tools. Hootsuite and Buffer on the right used to be free, but of course, for the past 3-4 years, they're no longer free. They only have a 30-day trial, and that's it. So now it's time for a break. I will stop my share. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, you're welcome to ask any questions. Gianna, could you please moderate this part?
Yes, I'll be more than happy to. So if you have any questions, you can either unmute yourself at this point or put in the chat box.
Could you put the chat and see what's in there?
Hi, Gina.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Marion. I'll turn on my camera. Hold on here so you can see me. I did have a question about, have you gotten any feedback on your website? Maybe what drew people in? Were there particular parts of your website that people liked, ones they didn't use? Do you know a little bit about what really worked?
Well, it's interesting when you look at the analytics, because all the websites have the potential to look at the analytics. They like, believe it or not, what they like the most with the pictures of the competition pictures, the winner's circle. So they're very much into the picture thing, right? They wow, this club has won championships, and so those, believe it or not, even though I have all that information, what people love the most is the pictures and the video.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Great question, Marianne. Any other questions? No? Seems like you're doing a great job, Margarita, explaining everything. So,
all right, I'm trying my best here. I really enjoy doing this work. I've done so many trainings on BPPRs and public relations in general. And so for me, it's a pleasure to be able to teach people, to share my knowledge with people. And of course, I'm always trying to learn as well, right? So this is an opportunity. If you don't have any questions, then get your coffee, get your water, get your munchies, whatever you want, and then we'll get started soon. In the meantime,
one question that someone had was, will this be available online? And yes, the PowerPoint and the recording will be available on the District 27 website under past trainings and workshops. So you can access this later once the slide deck has been sent and the video has been finished processing.
When you receive the PDF, later on, there's going to be some other goodies there that are not included in this training. So look out. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff on there that you're not going to get today. There's something to look forward to.
We have a question from Suzanne asking, can you talk about any issues to look out for with the social media sites?
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, you have to make sure that your messaging is true. That's very important. Whenever you put, I always tell people that the outside messaging must reflect the internal truth, right? So whenever you put together your messaging for your clubs, please make sure that your club has all of those things that you say it has, right? Is it a friendly club? Is it an efficient club? Does the meeting start on time? Do you have a full agenda? Do you have your themed meetings? All of these things have to be true. So the most important thing is that you have to examine club dynamic and then work with that. If it needs improvement, work on improving that dynamic so that this way the messaging that you put out is true. That said, there are times that people will want to tag onto, let's say, your Facebook page. I always put something in there so that I could check out who people are. Like, don't allow everybody to just come into your Facebook just because you want more likes, more followers, that kind of thing. Make sure that every person connects to your social media reflects your brand and the values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence. That is so important because you're representing the Toastmaster brand and you're representing yourself, right? So you want to make sure that you get yourself to snuff. Mm-hmm.
A question from Juan Palma. How many platforms do you recommend for the max since you can't maintain them all on a regular basis?
Very good question. Thank you for asking that question. It all depends on your club. If you're a small club, 2 is plenty. And I would recommend Facebook and Instagram because they're connected and it's easier to keep the scheduling in order. If you're a club that has, let's say, like 25 and over, that you have more of a pool that you can assign social media platforms to, then that's great too. So it's strictly up to what size the club is that determines how many platforms you are in. I would say that you could let go of Twitter for a bit because Twitter is more, if you have a club that's 45 and over, definitely Twitter will be useful. But if you have a club that's a smaller club, then I don't feel Twitter is that useful, you know? So that's my suggestion.
So we have about a minute left of the break and then we'll continue again.
Okay. You know, it's when I first started doing social media, I really didn't care for it. What happened was my sister Millie, and I kid you not, this is how it happened. I was one of those that had my regular flip, and I was perfectly fine with that. So my sister Millie has me her phone. She says, look at our nephews in Germany. Don't you think they're so cute? Don't you think that you would like a phone that you could see your nephews all the time? And that was my selling point. And after that, that's it. I became an expert. That's how it happened through my sister.
We just got another question. How much time do you devote to these social media efforts in a week?
That's a good question. Well, it all depends on your delegation skills. If you notice that there are people in your club, as particularly millennials are very good at social media, by all means, tag them into your team, right? Because if you do it by yourself, you gotta devote at least, I would say like an hour to an hour and a half a week for scheduling. So for example, when I was public relations manager for my district, the first time, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just going by rote and reading books and finding out what other districts were doing. But by the time I held the position the second time as public relations manager, I already had an arsenal, right? So I learned by that time I had learned how to build teams. And I started noticing people who were always on their phones all the time or knew how to connect all the time. I said, hey, would you like to be part of my team? So, and I'm proud to say that team that I had is still on today for the other for the 2 PRMs after me. So, you know, I would say learn how to pick good people to help you. You cannot do this by yourself. You really cannot. You have to learn how to build teams in order to make this a success. If you're doing it by yourself, like I said, 2 platforms plus your website, 3 is more than enough because that's all you have time for. You have a life, right? 1 day a week, you gotta have a life for yourself. So 2 plus your website is sufficient.
Okay, for the sake of time, we'll have the rest of the questions asked after. There'll be more time in the end for Q&A. So I believe at this point, we'll move on to the VPPR stuff.
Got it. Have you guys been able to see all the screens so far and everything good?
Thumbs up if you're able to see. You can do a reaction.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I had to practice how to do the screen share thing. Yeah. Awesome. Great. All right. All right. So let's share screen. All right. Here we go. So now we get to the public relations, or what I call the outside job. Remember what I said before, the outside messaging must reflect the internal truth. So if your internal truth is up to snuff, the vice president of public relations will not have any issues, right? So that is what you want to do. And this guy looks like a VP public relations guy. And that's why I picked him from the Toastmasters International site. Okay, what is the difference between advertising, marketing, and public relations? Please go to the chat and write what you think is the difference between the three. And Gianna, could you mind the chat for me, please? And see what you write?
Of course, I can do that. So the question is, what are the difference between advertising, marketing, and PR? Anyone want to venture a guess?
If not, we'll continue.
We have one saying they're all the same. All three are the same. Another response saying advertising is available to all and the other ones are available to some. Marketing is a movement to buy, to get people to buy stuff. Another person who says they're all the same, no difference.
And people think that they're all the same, but they are not. So let's get started. Okay, let's see. It's stuck, so I have to do something else here. Advertising is paid for a specific amount of time for a specific purpose. For example, the Super Bowl is a great example of that, right? Companies pay millions of dollars to advertise for the Super Bowl. For that maybe 1 minute or the 1 minute and a half, right? It's for a specific amount of time for a specific purpose. That is advertising. In other words, it's temporary. Marketing is your brochures, your flyers, and of course, your website is your brick and mortar store. Make sure you keep that website current. And finally, public relations is forever, building a reputation through the use of tactics that will give recognition to the values already inherent in the brand. And what are the values already inherent in the brand? Integrity, respect, service, excellence, right? So that reputation has to be kept throughout all of your messaging. And that's the reason why public relations is so valuable. When somebody gets in trouble, right, in the public arena, who do they call? The PR person, right? Because they're maintaining the reputation for that person. We as Toastmasters maintain the Toastmasters reputation. So think about that. So my suggestion is always, like I said before, to build your VP public relations team. If you can have somebody to manage your website, then that will relieve you so that this way you can carry on with your public relations duties, right? Because it is a lot to build a website. I mean, for me to get that website up to snuff, it took really roughly, I would say 2 years, like 2 to 3 years to get it to the point where it is now. So it does take time. I recommend if you see somebody in your club that's kind of like, a little bit web savvy, pick on that person, right? and have them just look at the free toast host and learn it, right? Because nobody will teach you. Nobody taught me. I had to learn that myself. You can have your newsletter. If you don't have time for a newsletter, just have somebody in your club do like a 1-pager of what's happening, club anniversaries. Somebody had a baby. Somebody had level 1, level 2, level 3, and pathways, right? Just a little 1-pager of your achievements. And of course, your social media, all the suggested platforms. Remember, you don't have to get on all of these suggested platforms. Your website +2 is more than enough. Some people actually use their Facebook page as their website, and that's fine as well. So long as you keep it updated, that's the key. If you're going to have a platform, at least once a week, it should be updated. It should look fresh, different. It should add value, right? It shouldn't just be stagnant. It should add value. Your sources of information, of course, is your club events, right? Your district events and the Toastmasters website, as I mentioned to you, is the slew of information that you have that you can use. So creating content, there is a difference between creating content and providing information. Information is what you write. The content are your pictures. And together, that's what is creating content. So first, I'm going to take you to the Toastmaster branding guidelines because it's crucial that you really learn that there is the branding that Toastmasters requires. If you notice during this presentation, I've used Toastmasters pictures, Toastmasters colors, right? That I've used them in a way that's creative so that it doesn't look like a regular, Toastmasters, typical Toastmasters presentation. I just made it my own, right? Still using the colors. So now I'm going to take you to that portal. Okay, and here's the Toastmasters brand portal. Please read it because it's very important that you know this information so that you can represent the brand the way it is expected. So here they have leveraging the brand. It is really cool, interesting articles as to how can you use the brand to your advantage. The brand manual, which I recommend that you download to your hard drive and read it. There's a lot of cool, interesting stuff in there as well. Your brand photo contest. I know that many of you have seen the Toastmasters magazine, and usually on page 3 or 4 around there are Toastmasters from all over the world, right? They take a picture next to a mountain, Mount Everest with a Toastmaster magazine. That's what that brand photo contest is all about. And I think it's a good idea that your club tries to participate in that. I think it's a good promotional tool. Your business cards, your templates, and so on, your website templates, your logo and design elements. Okay, let's look at that. Let's just look at one. Now, one of the things that Toastmasters is adamant about is that the logo cannot be disfigured, cannot be covered in any way. So even if you expand it and contract it and all that, it has to maintain its uniformity, right? Because it has to be represented with clarity. So on this portal, you have a whole bunch of different ways. It has black and white, it has color, it has transparent. And on the bottom, it has the Pathways logo, the badges, Gavel Club logo, all your social media covers and so on. So you have a lot of stuff that you can use here that can help you with your messaging. Okay, so next I am going to take you to Spark Adobe. Oh, did I stop the share by accident? Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we have Spark Adobe. Now I find that people who are PC users like myself tend to use this website. People who are Apple users most of the time use Canva. So I'm going to show you a little bit around the site. So if you want to create a graphic, you would just hit the plus sign. And here it tells you whether you want to create a flyer, Instagram story, Instagram posts, and so on. Also, if you scroll down a little bit, it does the same thing, right? It goes across to ask you, what do you want to create? If you scroll down, it shows all the different templates that you have. You can explore all of them, or when you click here, you can explore what you want. These are all like my recent projects. And these articles that they have in Spark Adobe are excellent, excellent articles. They're very informative. And to be honest with you, they're very well written. In other words, a person who doesn't know, who's not an expert in social media, can understand what they're talking about. They're very well written. So here, what we're going to, let's assume that we're going to create like an Instagram post. It'll take a little, like a little bit, so just be a little bit patient. Okay, and as you can see from the left, there's a whole bunch of different templates that you can use. Now, if you notice, there are some with the shields on the right-hand side. Those are the ones that you cannot use unless you pay for them. So anything that you see with a shield, you can't use it. So let's assume that we have this one. Let's see, it's taking a little while. Yeah, it's taking a little bit too long. So I think that we will stop that, but I just wanted to give you an idea. Yeah, it's taking a little bit too long. But anyway, on the right-hand side, you see there's a section that says colors, animation, changing the background. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this platform. Okay, next I'm going to take you to Canva. I know that you already had a class in Canva, but just to show you that it's there and that it exists, right? Okay, so here you have Canva, and I'm not going to go into that. I just wanted to let you know that it's there because you've already had a class on this. And next, I'm going to take you to Facebook Creator Studio. That's the next one I'm going to take you to. That's on. Okay, so this is your creator, your scheduling platform for Facebook Creator Studio. If I click on the content library, it shows all the content that I have created for my own website. In order to create remember what I told you, that in order to use Creator Studio, you must have a Facebook profile page. Again, I recommend that you create a separate profile page aside from your personal one, and then create your business page from there. If you want to know how to create a Facebook business page, just Google it, because the Facebook help is no help at all. So I recommend that you just go to Google, because that's how I found out how to do it. From here, you can create a post. And again, it's taking long. I guess it's just a lot of bandwidth going on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here you put like what's on your mind, right? You share a photo. I'll pick a picture. I'll pick an iris. And once that what happens is that once that picture loads over here, there we go. Once it loads, on the bottom right-hand corner where you see publish and you see the down arrow, you click the down arrow and it asks you, it says schedule, backdate, or save as a draft, right? So when you schedule it, you will see a calendar. You click on calendar, and then you could pick January, February, March, whenever you want to schedule it to appear. And of course, then you have the time, whatever time you want to schedule it, and you click on schedule. Remember that if you schedule something going, let's say you schedule it 3 months from now, and you decide that you really don't like the messaging and that you want to change it, that's not a problem. You can go, so long as you have not published it yet, it's not an issue. Or you could save it as a draft as well, and you could work on it later. Because sometimes, because that would happen to me too, right? Like I would get together with my district director and we would talk about, okay, what is the messaging that we're going to do for the next 3 months? What is our campaign? And then suddenly he would say, you know, Margarita, I think that I want to do this instead, right? So, you know, I had to be ready in case there was any last minute change that came. Okay, the next one that I'm going to show you is the one for Twitter. TweetDeck. Okay, this is a scheduling tool for Twitter. Again, you click the little feather, you add an image, and this time I guess I'll pick a Gianna since I picked an Iris before. And I'll type, you know, whatever I like to type. And then I will schedule the tweet, pick a date, click a time, and then click tweet. Of course, I'm not going to tweet it, so, you know, I'll just remove it. But I just want to let you know that these tools exist and that they add value to your messaging. Okay, this is a social media content calendar. This was actually kept by our previous public relations manager in District 83, Jenna Barone. And as you can see, she has Instagram and Facebook and Twitter on one column and LinkedIn on the other column. And then she would write the description next to her graphics. This was a way for her to keep track of what she was doing. And it also allowed her to say, okay, where can I change it? In other words, it gave her like a 360 picture as to what was going on, and in case there were any changes that were necessary going forward. In your PDF, when you receive your PDF, you will also include it that you will see a social media cycle for a virtual open house. In other words, for example, let's say you decide that you're going to do an open house 3 months from now, and it'll have kind of like the timing. Well, what do you do in month 1, month 2, month 3, week before, you know, that kind of thing. So that will be included in the PDF. And now you're going to get a really cool social media hack. This is a surprise. You're gonna love this. Oops, I didn't mean to get out. Wait, hold a second. There we go. Okay, where's my emoji? Okay, this is a really, really cool site. But you know how sometimes you have a picture and you say, gee, the picture's great, but the background is disgusting, right? You want to get rid of the background because it's so bad. So you try all these different applications and they are horrendous. They don't do the job, but this one will. So let's upload an image. All right. And we'll pick on irises. And as you can see, it cleanly got rid of the background in her image. You can edit, and you can add all kinds of backgrounds, right? Right? Isn't that a cool social media hack? Look. You can also add different colors to the background. Okay. Okay, so this is the final time for questions. So I will stop my share. So if you have any additional questions, you can ask them now.
Someone wanted to know if that last website, Remove BG, is free.
Yes, it is.
And as you see, it was very simple to use.
Yes, it's very simple to use. You know, you have pictures of your kids, right? You have old pictures from your parents, and the background is all distorted. Not a problem. Just upload it there, and it gets rid of the background. Really cool stuff.
Can you go over this step again on how to remove the background and how to put a different one in?
Oh yeah, not a problem. We'll do that gladly. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know how that's done, but I.
So you want me to go through the remove PG again? Correct?
Yes, thank you. And show me how you put the background, a different background in.
Oh, not a problem. Yeah. Okay. So I'll share the screen again. All right. So this is the website. I uploaded her picture. So what we do is let's go back. So after I uploaded the picture and I got rid of the background, you click on edit. You see that it has like a little brush. Click on edit. And here you will see two tabs. It says photo, and on the right, it says color, right? So when you click on photo, it has all of these different backgrounds that you can add. Oh, that's a nice one. I didn't see that one. Or you can change the color. So it's just as simple as just clicking on the different colors. And that's how you do it.
Saying, do you recommend sending the same reminder flyer for club meetings and just changing the date, or should we create a completely different flyer from time to time?
I believe it's good to change time to time. Let's say, for example, if somebody achieved a milestone, like they achieved a level 2. So it depends what's happening in your club at the time. You know, if somebody achieved a level in the club, if somebody got a promotion at the job, if somebody, so in other words, try to include different types of news that are happening in the club. And I think that adds a little variety to your email. So, you know, come to the meeting and, you know, congratulate so-and-so, or, you know, so try to make it interesting each time. One of the things that our Vice President Education does is that she creates a slideshow that she puts at like in the first 15 minutes of the meeting. The slideshow has any district announcements, it has any club announcements, any birthdays, things like that are in those first 15 minutes that people are coming in, right? So that by the time 7:15 comes and the meeting actually begins, everybody knows what's going on. So that's a cool way. Create a PowerPoint slide on a PowerPoint. You could turn it into an MP4 if you want, and this way it lets the world know what's happening. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have another question from Harold saying, on the Free Toast Host website, their pop-up advertisement, are you familiar with floater messages?
Oh, yes. Yeah. The floater messages that are already within it. Is that what he means?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. How can I help him on that?
Yeah, actually, I was talking about creating floater messages.
Oh, okay. So on the actual website, because I know that it tells you they have 2 floater messages, one for internal public and one for outside public. Okay. So the one we have is the one that that says we're going to meet on this date at this time, join us, that kind of thing. And then when you go on the member only portal, than it has, for the members. So yeah, I am familiar with that. I decided to actually remove that from the site because I felt it was annoying, and most of the members of my club felt that it was annoying. So that's why I took that out. I don't use the floaters anymore. I used to use them, but then they told me no, to get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
I hope that all of you have enjoyed this workshop, and it's really nice to actually visit another district and and deliver workshops to you. I also deliver workshops on team building. So if you ever need me to deliver workshops on team building, I do that as well. All right. So in case you need that for the future, go to my website, thewellconnectedwriter.com, because I am a speaker. So you can look on there and you can see all information about me there.